Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream on Question Time. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, and I had to fix a few things in the settings, but hopefully that's all coming through nice and clear now. Looking a bit high, low there in frame. Let's just try and adjust that. Oh, maybe mine's wonky. That'll do. Anywho, hello everyone. Sorry for the weird start there. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Perfect. Let me turn down that a bit more. Yeah, sorry, all the settings got mixed up, so I had to like adjust them. Let me know how that sounds now. So yeah, welcome back to Question Time. Now we've been gone for some time, and I want to explain basically what's been going on behind the scenes, as I didn't want to leave people in the lurch for too long and explain what's going on with everything. And there'll be a lot more details coming soon, I'm sure, to give you in the next week or so. But ultimately, what really happened this summer is been mad busy to the point where I just got completely burnt out, and it just overworked. I was burning the candle at both ends and the middle, and it was just getting way too much. And this week, well, it started this week, it's been something we've been talking about for a while, about just sorting my life out a little bit, getting a bit more organised, making sure I'm setting some time aside for family and myself and all those little things, and reprioritising various aspects and everything. So what you're going to see, what it means for the channel, hopefully things are looking healthier. I'm feeling healthier about it, which is good, good sign. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will stick. But what that means for you guys and the content that you see on the channel is it's going to be a slight change in the release schedule and content, but more on that it will be announced in due time. But one thing that will be coming relatively soon is we are relaunching the podcast. As I thought it'd be quite a good first episode to talk about this sort of burnout phase and talk about my trouble dealing with it and what it meant for not just myself, my family, but also for the projects I work on. Obviously, just what kind of space that put me in, and basically how I got myself out of it. I figured it would be a good, useful conversation for some people out there who also suffer from burnout, and there'll be other conversations like that too. And the podcast you can look forward to not just me talking, but we will try and be getting some developers from all over the world to come in and do interviews and chat about their progress they've been working on and what projects they're releasing. So yeah, we're doing a lot more there. So fingers crossed, things are a bit healthier and going forwards. What that does mean is that there will be now a live stream, not on Saturdays, but tomorrow. So you're going to have a live stream every Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see how that goes and might have to rejigger through things, but that's what we're going for. But that's what I'm going to be doing, and hopefully we should see a whole healthier channel and a better launch lineup for videos and content, and get caught up on a lot of things. We're very far behind on lots of things. It's time we got caught up on everything. So yeah, so this is Question Time. On to the topic at hand. If you don't know what Question Time is, it's a time where you can ask me any question you like about game dev, Unreal Engine, anything you really want at all. All you have to do is put your question into chat. I'll try and grab as many questions as I can within the hour that we're here live. If I do miss your question, don't fret, just put it back into chat, but try not to spam chat like mad, and I'll try and grab them as we go through. So let's jump over to chat and see how everyone's doing. Hi everyone, how you doing? Hi M Gaming, hey USP, nice to see you. Chipolata, Cybershell, good to see you. Jason, good. Vinny, Klaus, all good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us live tonight. Let's take a look at going over to Unreal and start answering some questions for people. So I'm going to just scroll around here. Let's find one. Klaus, how to prevent the player from spamming the fire button when using a timer? Yeah, okay. So the problem Klaus is referring to is when you're doing a fully automatic gun. So at the moment, this gun is not fully automatic. Yeah, it's semi-automatic. I have to let go of the button to shoot it. Okay. and it won't shoot again until I release the button and push it back down again. So first of all, let's turn this into a fully automatic weapon. So let's go into our blueprint for our weapon component. And down here, we've got the triggered for shoot. And it's set to triggered here. So what I'm going to do is go into my input settings. And let's go to IMC weapons. There's shoot. And there's left mouse button. And the trigger is set to be pressed only. Okay, so that's, when it's grayed out like this, it means that it's part of the actual action, not in the context. So let's go to the action. There it is, pressed. And what they've got set up here is it will only trigger once it's been pressed for at least 0.5 in time. So if I want it to repeat, there's lots of ways you can do it with a timer. You can also do it inside the input action as well now. So you can change this to a pulse. Trigger on start, interval 1 second, trigger limit. So this is how many times it can fire the trigger when it is being held. So 0 means there'll be no limit. Obviously we can put in a limit ourselves with the ammo that our gun have, but for now we'll keep it no limit. Affected by time dilation, yep. So you can do slow-mo shooting, and activation threshold will leave us 0.5, okay? But the interval here be like the fire rate of your weapon you could do, okay? So if I change that to 0.1, instead, the component will shoot like so. Yeah. So you can make an fully automatic weapon like that. Now, obviously, the question is though, is that this interval timer, 0.1, what can you do with that? Because at the moment that's locked to this. Can we make it work outside of that? Now, here's a little trick for you. I don't know. I don't know if you can or not. So let's see if we can find out together and see if that is a thing you can actually do and make these modifiable. So what I'm going to do is just check over here. So if there's anything in here I need to make note of. I don't think there is, but that would do there. So let's go to our weapon component. So whenever I want to do anything with the input actions, it's going to be related to the player controller. So somewhere in the graph, I'm just going to look for get player controller. Start with that and get the enhanced input system. Okay. And now I want to see if I can get the action. Okay, so I'm going to type in the word action and see what it gives me. So we've got query, map keys, map to action, inject input action, inject input vector, stuck to input. Don't look like we've got anything we can use there. So what I'm going to search for is, and this may be a thing that we can't do in here. Let's just type in input. There you go. Don't want to inject input. Could we do this? Trigger? No. So here I can do triggers. So let's see if we can build one. Ah, so it looks like we can set one. So is it triggers a thing that we can actually make? Let's have a look. Actually, first of all, first thing to check, input. No. So go to blueprint class. Trigger. It may not be a thing, or I don't know. Input trigger. Try that. Oh. Custom trigger. And this is how I find out stuff. I just play about with it and see what I can do. So it doesn't look like I can set that to that. No. What is this actually doing? It looks like it would be it, but I'm guessing not. So it comes up here though. So we can make custom triggers, but I don't think I can get the pulse interval. Let's actually search for pulse. No. Okay, so it may not be a thing we can actually do inside of this. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to change that all back, and we'll do it the timer method. So let me just change that back to pressed. There you go. Okay, so now it should be back the way it was. Okay, so let's now do that. So for timer method, we've got the triggered, but we want to change that from triggered to be uncompleted as well to manage a timer. So we're going to do, I'm going to break this off into a custom event called fire bullet. And we do that. When it's triggered here, we'll take it to fire bullet and set timer by event, create event, choose fire bullet, on loop 0.1. So that's a variable, firing timer, and we take the firing timer and clear and then validate that when we let go of the button, so completed or cancelled. Okay, so let's see if that does the trick. No, why is that not doing the timer? Fire bullet, set timer, fire bullet. Oh, it's not completed, that's why. I need it to be... Okay, let me just take off the pressed. Delete that, there we go. And I'm going to change that from triggered to started. Okay. Okay. That does the trick. I should put that back in there. Right, so... yeah, so the player can spam this. So let me just change the time to that is 0.5, for example. Because we get 5 bullets on this started, if I just hold it, it goes quite slow. But if I click hard, it'll do that. So what you need to do is set up your own cooldown system in it. So when it does the 5 bullet, yeah, over here, we'll have on cooldown, and we'll set that to true, and we'll set a timer for the cooldown. Set timer by event, and the event for this is 0.5 seconds. Custom event set can fire, and all cooldown will become false. Okay. Then at the start of our shooting, we need to be a condition in here saying like when we should be able to shoot. Well, we'll say that we can only shoot if on cooldown is false. And that should gatekeep it from going anywhere else. So hold it down, still works. If I spam it, works. And there you go, and that's how you do it. So by breaking down the problem, we solved it, and by separating out the fire bullet event from the input. It's a good idea to separate things like this away from the input devices, the input nodes, because you may want to call fire bullet for other reasons rather than relying on the inputs. So it's a lot easier to do so when it's a separate function or event. So yeah, just do it like that. And then the condition over here, we could probably even put this somewhere, like, I guess it could be, actually no, I'll leave it here actually, keep it all together, makes more sense. But yeah, there you go. So on cooldown, it's a boolean, it gets turned on to true at the end of fire bullet, and sets a timer for 0.5 seconds. After 0.5 seconds, it'll clear it, allowing it to go back through and tell it to fire bullet again. Okay. Cool. Okay, next up. Yeah, we can answer questions about particle emitters, Jordan. Yeah. Could you control it from a level blueprint? So Cristobal about chaos caching. It did a tutorial about it. You can control it from level blueprint. Can it be controlled from an actor? Couldn't get a reference to the cache. I had this problem too, and it doesn't seem you can reference it directly. I don't know if that's a bug, but yeah, I've noticed that problem as well. I have to take a look at it again. Axel, if I want to add static meshes to an animation, like custom hitboxes, not traces in blueprints, but as meshes in animations, is that possible? I mean, you can do it as a particle, because particles can spawn meshes, so it depends on what you want to do with them. Custom hitboxes. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. No, you can just turn them off and on. No, you could. It's just a bit fiddly. Using notifiers. So, I mean, I don't have an animation I can really show it with, really. But you make a notifier. Anim notify. And we'll do anim notify hitbox. And you put this on the animation. So hopefully you know how you've seen how these work. But you put this on the animation, and on the override, when you do receive notify, this is where you'll spawn in the hitbox. Yeah, spawn actor, and choose the hitbox. Put it there, or you can add static mesh. Not from that. From this. Add static mesh. No, we need to get owner of this first. Owner. Then add static mesh. Add static. Oh, no. I guess you can't do it with components in here, but you can do it with actors. Yeah, I think that should do it. But normally I'll just put them on there and just make it so you can turn them off and on. That'd probably be the cleanest way of doing it, rather than spawning things in. It's more expensive to spawn something in than it is to turn it off and on. So yeah, do that. Especially components. Components can be quite expensive to keep spawning in. So. Colton Nuns. How to go from third person to first person and take a photo like a Polaroid. I also want it to stay in like the UI. Good thing you're asking. I've actually got videos on how to do that. Just go to my channel and search for a photo, and you'll see photo mode as a small series of videos. But yeah, we have exactly that. Jordan. Hi Gorka, good to see you. We're just answering people's questions. Jordan, I had a problem with a fire particle emitter making walls far away glow orange. Is there a way to make this stop? The fire particle emitter? I mean, you're talking about, I assume you're talking about this one? You say you don't want it to light the walls up orange? Is that what you're trying to say? Because it is lit, so it's going to light up anything around you. So if I like change the like that, you are going to see lighting on it. Is that what you're trying? Is that the problem? You say you don't want it to do that. Is that correct? You don't want it to light up the environment. If that's the case, you go into your particle emitter. This is the Cascade particle emitter. And in here, you'll see there's a light module on some of these things. Turn these off. There's not anywhere else. And it won't do it anymore. Is that helping you out there, Jordan? Let me know. Next question. Yeah, it depends on what the source of lighting is. That's right, Arthur. If you are talking about particle emitting light, then yeah, you can just turn it off. Just go scroll back up and see what ones I've missed. Vinny, how can we make a WPO material that different cubes fall sequentially from sky? Still need a collision to be at the place location, but the material should offset lerp location toward that position. Huh? Can I go spawn the mesh with collision at the end of the animation? Oh, I think I know what you're trying to do. So, yeah, I know what you're trying to do. So you try and make it rain blocks, and then where the block lands, it's going to keep the block there. Sort of like how sand falls in Minecraft. I'm guessing that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, you can. So let's make a Niagara system. I'll create an empty one. Cube rain. So let's break down the problem into parts. And this is something you need to be getting used to when you want to solve a problem, is breaking down the problem into various parts that you can easily test. So the first part of the problem is spawning the cubes in an ecosystem. So we need an emitter, and we're going to be spawning meshes. So we're going to go down to render and choose a mesh renderer. I'm going to turn off the sprite, don't want that. And on the meshes, we're going to choose a cube, shape cube. Okay, and then go emitter update, and we're going to do spawn rate. And I'll change it to 5. Okay, so there's my cubes, but all in the same place, so you probably want them to go out, about. So what we're going to do is we're going to change their spawn location. So you go to particle spawn, and we're going to change their shape location. And we'll choose a box or plane, and we're going to have it set to be 0 in the Z there. Yeah. And we'll just separate it out a bit more. We'll do like 1,000 by 1,000. There's our things. Okay. Now at the moment they're not falling and they're not sequential. They're just spawning randomly. Sequential stuff we'll worry about later. We just want them to spawn in. So when they spawn in, we want them to drop. So let's add some gravity to them. So let's go to the update. And you know it's update because you want it to constantly do it the whole entire time. So we're going to have gravity. And when you get this error, it's just going to tell you what it needs. And you need a solve forces and velocity node. Just click that on to fix and it will do it. Okay, so there's our blocks raining from the sky. Next is we need them to hit the floor and collide. So we're going to go to particle update and add a collision node. Okay, and we've got loads of settings you can change for collision. But with that in there as it is, that should spawn our cubes in and they should just land, okay? Now they're going to be bouncy, which you may want, but I'm going to guess not. So let's make them so they don't bounce. So you find that in the collision settings, and that bounce is called restitution. So we go over here to restitution, change it to 0, and it will no longer bounce. Okay. Now at the moment these are completely visual. They don't actually do anything. Right, they're just there. But you want them to stack on top of each other as well, and other objects, and spawn an object in their place. I'm believing that's what you're trying to say. So to do that, we need the trigger in the event when they collide. Okay, so when they collide, I'm going to go to particle update, and we're going to do particle kill particles. And the kill particle, we're going to change the drop down to not be a tick box because that would kill it straight away. We want to change it to collision. So as soon as they collide, they destroy themselves. So we'll do collided. Has collided. There you go. So as soon as they hit the floor, they'll destroy it. So go back to the world, and you see this happen. Okay. Now, for every one of those events, I want it to spawn something in. Now, this could be quite expensive to do this because obviously you're spawning in loads of things. But there are ways we can get around making that more performant. So when this does collide, we want it to trigger an event. So if you go into here, and we can do generate death event. And also what we need to do on here is go up to the properties and turn on requires persistent IDs. This gives every single particle like a separate ID, so it knows what one got destroyed when and where when it happens. Now, normally, this is going to be used by the other emitters to spawn in other particles. So if you want to cause explosions when they land, you could do that. But what we're going to try and do is see if we have the ability to generate an event outside of the Niagara system. So let's try and have a look. So I'm going to create a blueprint class, actor. We'll call it Heavy Rain. And go into here and add our Niagara system. Let's add our cube rain. There it is. Now, let's see if we can get access to the event system in here. I don't know if we can. Let's have a look. So we're going to drag out our event, our Niagara component, sorry, and search for the word event. Let's have a look, see what we've got. If there's anything that we can do to access this. I could be wrong. There may not be a way out of it. Don't look like it. Not saying there isn't a way of doing it. I'm just not familiar with one. So let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look and see what else we can do with that triggered event. So one thing to check as well, we haven't got anything in here saying on particle, no. So you want to check there, these are the event dispatchers to check to see if anything can be destroyed. Things like that. Let's have a look at what we have access to in our Niagara system. So another way to look at what can be done and what can't be done is just drag out from the component, search for what the component is, in this case the Niagara system, and it'll tell you all the functions and variables you have available to it. Now, one thing it may not be able to show is any sort of custom stuff that we have to make. So I'm just reading through. So we can set stuff. But there no doubt is a way of doing it. I imagine there would be. Just looking for keywords that look like something that they would do what we want, but I don't see it. Okay, let's have a look back at our thing, see if there's something else we can do on here. So I need it to generate an event. Let's see what we have available to us. So this actually, as I said, this sends, normally we use this to send over to other emitters, and they use that information for something else. But I want to get it out. Is there a way to get it out? Yes, Eligius. You can you have to publish with a company name. Event. There we go. Niagara event. Niagara collision payload. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Rename that. Cube land. We'll call it. Okay. And I want it to trigger that event on death. So how can I do that? Let's have a look in here. Can I search for cube land? Search for event? No. Well, it said that this would happen on collision, this one. So let's see if that can be accessed now outside of here. So drag out from here. Cube land, no. Event. No. What about up here? Is there anything in here? There's a user parameter for cube land. But I want to use it. How can I do that? Bum 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 bum. You can pilot it. Oh, maybe, yeah, good point. No. Let's go back to here. Maybe I have to set something on this. No. Make new event. Chaos destruction event and Niagara collision event payload. Collision event payload. Collision event data set is based on this. Figured out how green pipe attributes from colliding particle in here. Maybe it's not possible yet because it says it to do this. Well, how old is that? I don't know. Maybe it's not fully emitted yet. Don't know. Let me have a look. See if there's any documentation on what do they call it? Niagara collision event payload. It may be something that's just not done yet. Over collision event payload custom. Nothing on there, so I'm guessing it's not a thing yet. I'm gonna guess. I mean, I guess that to-do thing is still valid. Because I'm not seeing anything. I'm gonna guess you can't do it through Niagara. You're gonna have to do it through assets that you spawn in. So I'm gonna guess that that's the case. It's weird, but yeah. Have a look again. See, these are all inputs. I don't want to do an input. I want this event. Anything in here I can do? Anything in here? I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna guess no. Event receive particle data. Oh, we have I spelled receive right. I think that's just going to get. This function is called once per tick with the gathered particle data. It will not be called if there's no particle data to call with it. I don't know if that's the right thing. So it looks like you're trying to get data and feed it into the particle system. So I'm going to guess not. It's an event, not a function. Wait, on here, it's not. No. No. But. Oh, we need to add an interface. Oh, right, okay. Let's have a look. Particle callback. What else have we got in here? Okay, let's have a look then. Let's just print string something. Sure. How would it know which one? Oh, oops. Need to get rid of that one. How would it know which one we're talking about, though? That's the question I have. But no, it requires further investigation. It may well be that, but I don't see... Because that's the event received particle data. We need to send the particle data. That's it. Like, we need to call that somewhere. Because the interface is, that's only half the equation. The other half is sending the message, and we don't have that particle data. You need to send this to this, but I don't get how, where. Something to investigate, but I don't think it's something you can do. We've got an event handler, I think. Oh, we don't know, do we? Actually, let's have a look. Let's see what you're saying. See, the event handler normally is for incoming events, not outputting. I don't think that's going to be it. That's like, it's that. Receiving of that sort of stuff. In export, need export particle data to blueprint. Would it be easier with WPO? It'd be easier just to spawn the things in, not like if really. That's like regular to spawn them in probably. We've got death event, not collision event. But that's what I'm saying. On here, this is for when it receives it. It's not going to output it, is it? I don't think. So we're generating a death event, and that's handling the death event. That's not going to send it out. I haven't got Discord open, man. I have to look elsewhere. Export particle data. Ah, that's cool. Okay. See, I'm learning. Export data to blueprint. Usage nodes. Export particle data is somewhat complex. There's an example asset under the Learn to Epic Games Launcher in the content examples project, which shows how this works. Oh, okay. Oh, right. So it's this thing we need to do. Aha. Okay. Oh, okay. I have to look at the content examples to learn that myself. But if you want to learn yourself, go to the content examples. Apparently, there's an example of it in there, of them using this node. But yeah, never ever used it, obviously. Well, I'll look that up. Won't do it now. Anyway, sidetrack. Come back to that another time. How can you do a character unlocking system where the player can unlock the character by reaching certain levels in the game using data structures that holds the character details like the name and icon? So there's a few steps involved. You need to have the characters listed as in some sort of data format, so like a data asset. Probably be a good place to start. So you do your primary data asset, DA characters, character. There you go. Can you please check? Hang on, I have to get my phone out. Hang on, and now check Discord. On the variables here, we'll have like the name, blah 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 blah. Oh. Picture, and so on, right? So you have all the information you need about your character in here. Oh, screw it, never mind. And then you define it inside the data assets. And then if you want to, I mean, there's loads of ways you could do it. There's a character, quick Ryan, there you go. And in your save system file, you could store an array of all the characters you've unlocked. And when you want to unlock a character, you just send that over to the save system and saying that that's something you've unlocked. That's one way of doing it. You need to find the trigger for it and then access the player save data. So, I mean, it's a lot. The reason why I'm not doing it is because it's a lot to go through. I don't think we have the time to go through it all. Oh, let me just check this message from Sol. Oh, there's a lot of questions here, so so hang on. I'll have to get back to you on a lot of these. Hang on. There's too many AIs on screen. Okay, I'll answer the other ones privately with you later on. But in terms of the performance trick, if there's a way that too many AIs on screen, the animation runs on a lower FPS. Is there a way to do that in UE? Good question. So I think it will do it automatically as part of its culling part information. But if you go to the mesh and I remember seeing it somewhere. Where is it? Maybe it's on here. Right. Might be on actual animations themselves. Hold on. So compression might be with that. I think it's something it tries to do automatically for you. I think it's something to do with the compression bit. I can't remember though. Might have to look that one up. But I think it's something it tries to do automatically for you. But one thing it does do automatically is it won't animate if it's not rendered. So if you can't see it, it won't animate. So I'm trying to read through what questions we have here. Is there a way to make the inside of the head not visible when using the true FPS character? So, yes, there's a couple of things you could do. Let me just bring in the third person characters to show what you can do. Oh, right, wrong one. Add feature, third person. Hopefully do that. Okay, and then on the third person character, you've got a couple of things you can do. First of all, let me just drag that camera to the mesh, and the camera will attach to the head, like that. So if I wanted this to not see the inside of the head, so at the moment we have the problem. Oh wait, wrong character. Would help if I was in the right character. Let's just do world settings. Ah, camera's upside down. Hang on. Oh yeah, whoops. There you go. There we go. So less of a deal in this one, but yeah, if you wanted to hide the head part, if the head is not a separate mesh, if it's a separate mesh, you can do the owner no see type thing. But if it's not a separate mesh, like this, for example, it's all one thing, you can also just shrink the bone or hide the bone. So, like on begin play, for example, you can get the mesh out and you can do hide bone by name and choose the head. And what that'll do, if I zoom out, is it'll get rid of the head for you. All it's doing is shrinking it down to 0. That's all it is. But that's how you do something like that. And if you still wanted to generate a shadow, you have the head as a separate mesh and make it just still cast shadows. It will just hide the bone for your particular character. Yeah, there's a few ways of doing it, but yeah, it depends if it's separate mesh, it's a lot easier. If it's not a separate mesh, this is the way you'd have to do it. Real-time Fat Man, in an FPS, would using physical projectiles instead of line traces be fine, or would it cost too much? It'll cost too much for what you're trying to do. Plus, it opens up a door for a lot more other problems. If the bullet's really, really small and going really, really fast, it could not work with physics too well. So don't. It's always better to do line trace if you're doing like small projectile like bullets every single time. It's too expensive to shoot out something that you can't see. Yeah. So no point. Have you checked that new movement system, Mover? No, I haven't yet. I saw they'd done a live stream earlier today, was it? I haven't looked at it yet. I'll check it out when I get time to. Clump Fandango. How can you have a flashlight that tries to rotate where the camera is looking, but the angle in which it can turn is negative 45 to 45 degrees from the player forward? Can rotate all the way around. Try to understand what you're trying to do. So you hang on. Let me go back to making it use the first person character. I'm guessing, yeah, in FPS. FPS? I'm gonna guess you're doing an FPS clump. I'm gonna guess. So if you want something to aim at where you're looking, so let's say I add a pseudo torch. We'll just do cylinder. Let's see what that looks like. Why did I see it? Oh, was I looking at using the wrong character? I was using the wrong character, wasn't I? For God's sake. There we go. Get rid of you. So there's my sort of torch. Okay, so you want that torch to look at where you're looking, but when you turn the camera, what's going to happen? Because obviously, like you can't look somewhere else and not have the camera move. So I don't know what you're trying to achieve, Clump. In third person. Oh, okay. Same problem with that one. So you want. Hang on. Paste that back in there. Give that to the mesh. There. That I guess. Rereading a question, sorry. Try to rotate where the camera's looking. Right, well, let's just add a spotlight to this thing. Actually, it would have been easier to do a spotlight without the actual mesh, wouldn't it? Be better. Just about the mesh. Okay. So, I need to change the camera back. Oh, crap, hang on. Bring on. On the spring arm there. Spring arm, use pawn control rotation. Camera. Okay. Oh, still using the wrong character. Just tab that down to there. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I forgot about the head. Anyway, right. So there's our flashlight. Okay. So you want it to move, like point the flashlight button fixed to like 45 degrees, like this. So if I turn it around, it won't do anything else. Okay. So chances are you're doing that with an animation as well. So you can probably just do aim offsets to handle that, or IK to handle that. But if you want to just move something to look at, point where the camera's pointing, you need to first of all get the direction that the camera's going in or what it's looking at. So we need to do a line trace by channel. Get player camera manager. Get the forward vector. Oh, wrong one. Get actor forward vector. There we go. Multiply it by length of how far to look. So, I don't know, 1,000. And then we'll get actor location. And I'm going to add that on to that. And that'll be the endpoint there. And we'll do that on a tick. Draw debug for 1 frame. And just see how that's behaving. So at the moment, it's going to be hard to see because our camera's right in front of it. So let me just move the camera to the side. Hold on. 50 by 50. There we go. So if you want the flashlight to point at where the red dot is, basically. So what we can do is get the spotlight, set rotation. You do set world rotation, I guess. And we want to find a look at rotation between the start point, which is the trace start, and the end point, which is the location of the hit. And that give us the rotation of this. Like that. Okay. So there it is moving around. Now obviously it's not clamped at all. So if I want to clamp it, we can't use world rotation because world rotation is a fixed rotation. It's not taking into account of the actor's rotation. So it needs to affect the relative rotation. So what I need to do is do set relative rotation. And our flashlight currently has a relative rotation of 90 already. So to convert this over to a relative rotation, we have to do transform rotation, inverse transform rotation, and put that into there, and do get actor transform. Start with that. Again, that breaking down of the problem to several things. So it's not going to show because if you can see on the left, it's rotated by 90. Because I had to rotate by 90 originally to get to go the right way, I need to combine this with another rotator of 90. So 90 or minus 90? 90. Plug that in. Okay. So now it's facing the right way. We've got the same behavior working as intended, right? But now I can clamp it because the rotation is going to be relative to whatever we're doing. So if I'm going to clamp it, you also want to think about how you're going to clamp it. Like, are you going to clamp it by X, Y, and Z? Like, well, Y and Z, I guess, more importantly. Not Y and Z, X and Z, because you want yaw and pitch, not exactly roll. So if we break this open, we are going to take the pitch here and do clamp, and you'll see there clamp angle. And this will be 90, because we're adding 90 to it. No, pitch, sorry, this won't be 90. This will be minus 45 and 45. And then the yaw will be 90 plus that. So 90 plus negative 45, 90 plus 45. So you can type in the sum, if you didn't know, into the text box and it'll do it for you. And then we can take that, make that rotator, plug it in our pitch and our yaw, and that should do it. Oh, and the roll we just put in. Oh, we're not doing anything with roll, doesn't really matter. So now it's turning, but you can see it's now clamped. It's not going to go beyond that line. Okay, and that's how you clamp the angle or something. And that'll work on all directions. Because we're using that relative space rather than the world space. Very important. Why clamp angle and not clamp float? Good question. So that's because of just how rotators work. So without going into the full mathematics of quaternions and things like that, a rotator, if you were to add, if you had minus 150 as an angle and you were to take away 50 from it, you'd think that'd be minus 200. It is, but it isn't. So the rotator will actually go back round on itself. It's also like 360 is also the same as 0. So angles are calculated differently because of the way quaternions work. So it clamps it in the angle terms. So if you want to clamp an angle, use clamp angle. It'll make it work correctly with the quaternions. Whereas if it's a float, just do a float. Yeah, no problem. So yes, if the animation wouldn't play if the mesh isn't rendered, is there a way to make it play even if it isn't rendered? Yes, it's quite important in a lot of cases. So when you go to the component, the mesh, for example, down here, you'll see a section, or a setting rather, for down here, optimization. It says visibility based on anim tick options, and it says always tick pose. You want to always tick. Oh, that's what you turned on, but that would be set to something else. You want to tick, always tick pose and refresh bones. So the pose is being ticked and it's updating the bone positions in line. So that will be for the notifiers. So the reason why you do this, the difference between tick pose and refresh bones is tick pose means, let's say the character's doing a walk animation and you can't see them anymore. You want them, when you see them, to keep on look like they have still made those steps. They're not restarting animation every single time. So that's what tick pose is doing. But it's actually not animating at all. Behind the scenes, it's static. But that's no good if you've got Niagara and or any sort of notifiers happening on the bones animations. So if you want animation notifiers to happen still, you have to have refresh bones turned on. And likewise, you can turn on only tick when not rendered and only tick pose when rendered if you want. But yeah, most of the time you're doing always tick. Yeah, so it works the same for montage as well. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. So, as I said at the start of the session, we have gone through a lot of things in the past few months. I've been dealing with lots of issues, mental health issues and burnout more than anything, just really affecting a lot of what I'm trying to do. We'll be talking a lot more about that in the reboot of our podcast. So the podcast will be coming out soon. I haven't recorded it yet. It will be recorded soon on Friday. I want to use that as a platform to talk about things, just general news stuff in the games world that's of interest, things that should be noted by yourself if you're a budding game designer or interested in the video game industry underneath just game releases. So I want to talk about those things as well as just general game developer, like what we're doing and how things are going. So look forward to that coming soon. And there has been a slight shift around in the schedule. So video releases will be changing somewhat, but biggest difference is our live streams won't be on Saturday anymore. They'll be on Thursdays. So we'll be live streaming on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9 PM UK time. So whatever that is for you. Yeah, I was going to say massive thank you to everyone who's been patient over the past few months as I've been dealing with this sort of mental break. And I'm looking forward to getting back to it and getting the ball rolling again. I've been recording some more videos today and all week really. We've started recording a skill tree system, done more kart episodes, more action RPG episodes. We started doing a charge jump little videos. Yeah, lots of other little odd videos coming as well. And some like material stuff is coming. Yeah, lots of stuff like that coming down the road. So yeah, once again, thank you so much to everyone who is supporting the channel and supporting myself as well over on Patreon and YouTube members. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can find all the content early before anyone else, plus a few other benefits that are coming soon, as well as already existing over there from just $1 a month. So every little does help. So thank you so much for everyone over there who is supporting the channel. That'll be it for me tonight. So thank you very much everyone for watching and tuning in. We'll be back in again tomorrow. Stay tuned for an announcement on the page about what we'll be covering tomorrow. But thanks very much for your time, and I'll see you all next time. Good night, everyone.